normally do.
You don't think so, huh?
I mean, I dropped an F bomb last session, but
Yeah, it's okay, as long as it's not too frequent. Welcome, everybody. Tonight's episode, um, where we talk about everything tabletops and D&D specifically, and hopefully by the end of the night, we'll get you closer to getting to that point of inspiration. Before we jump in, just like to say thank you to everyone who participates and puts in work for the Mortal Woes to make it what it is, which is the community, the players, and the creators. I'd also like to thank XLG for providing us a cool space within their network to be able to run our one-shot system and to connect with another network of homies. And then also the artists that make awesome content on Artlist.io for all the music that they provide for us while we vibe and chat. I am Spio, your host for tonight, and we have a special guest, Mr. Chadman here. Welcome to the show.
thank you. Glad to be on. Whatever I can add to it, and thank you everybody else. That he just thinks that I just get on here and goof around, and it's a lot of fun for me. But I don't do a lot of the work like some of y'all do. So thank you.
Players make the worlds, so that's a lot of work, whether you know it or not.
Doesn't feel like work at all.
Well, that's good. Doing something right then.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So first off, Mr. Chadman, I'd like to start off by asking you essentially your experience so far that you've had with playing tabletops or D&D or just role playing in general. When did you first learn or see that you wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons?
Well, Justin was the one that introduced me to the game Dungeons and Dragons. But before that, I'd say that I never had any experience with tabletop games. But video games was always the fantasy video games I always played since I was little. And so that and the love of the Lord of the Rings, all that kind of stuff, all the movies. That prepared me a little bit, or just sparked the fascination for this style of game. And when Justin introduced it to me, what was it, a few years ago? 3 years ago, maybe something like that. As long as I've been playing, and I started diving into all the mechanics and just how the game worked, and I fell in love with it, and playing it as much as I can since. Can you hear kids in the background yet, Ethan?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we're
sorry,
living,
guys.
we're humans with families, and we're not in a soundproof studio. You can't always help everything. I have dogs. Sometimes they'll they'll make themselves known. They are in the room here with me, so they might bark or something.
No.
So it's quite all right.
Yeah, did that answer the question?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll mute myself in between.
So whenever you first started playing, or before you started playing, were there any thoughts or concerns possibly about getting into it? Like, did you have what was your perception of what the game would be, kind of, and then jumping into it, or did you have any sort of like worries about playing?
I had no idea what I was. Yeah, I had no idea. I never played a tabletop RPG game. I didn't didn't have dice. Justin gave me a set of dice, or actually Monica did. Um, I had no idea what to expect, and I'm glad that I was turned on to, I was turned on to Critical Role, Dimension 20, some of these more well-known. Um, um, what's the word I'm looking for, Ethan? But I was able to get on YouTube and watch the game being played and kind of understand how it went, the role of the DM, just the basics of the game. I picked up on as I watched the, super entertaining too, for me. So I was nervous. The thing that I was nervous about, and I still am working on, is just improv, coming up with things on the spot, and I still suck at taking notes. But I've made strides in the improv and the nervousness. I feel like some meeting new people to play. That was something else because I didn't know any of you guys other than Justin before. But uh, it's been it's been character development for me, and I can tell that it's helped me. That to me, D&D is maybe the most healthy thing about it for me is just is that coming up with things on the spot, putting myself in the, just trying to see myself as the character all the time and what the character would be doing. Um, it's a mental exercise for me, and it's good for. I can tell it's made differences in my life just talking to people.
Yeah, for sure. It's not always a comfortable situation either. So
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely something good to help with those social interactions where we, open ourselves up to people and try out new things, especially things that we're not comfortable with.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Um, yeah, I think now, yeah, I believe me and you basically started playing at the same time. So I think we
Oh,
have.
really? I figured you'd been playing for longer than me.
Uh,
You hide it so well. You
I
hide
think.
it so well.
Well, we played it. I think a couple of months. Um, me, Night Fury, uh, Kevin, and um, Corleonis. I think we were all a little adventuring party for a couple of
Yeah.
months, and then I believe it wasn't shortly after uh, you joined one of our games, and that was, you know, the
Okay.
starting point. So yeah,
Yeah.
I might have a couple of months on you, I guess.
Dang. Well, yeah, we all learned around the same time then. We
Yeah.
learned a lot quickly.
Yeah, we have put a lot of time into this, that's for sure. Or at least I feel like, considering, just
Oh man, it
lives,
is. Yeah.
work,
Yeah.
family, and then you tie it all in, and I feel like I've made this like a full time job myself. So, but I enjoy it.
It
So
has, yeah, it has taken completely over pretty much any entertainment that I tried to partake in before D&D has fell to the wayside, and it's like all the media I consume, the shows that I watch, it's most of it's D&D, or even now, I'm sure you're the same way. When I'm watching something that's not D&D, just some show on it, I still watch a lot of fantasy stuff, but I'm constantly like, oh, that character's a rogue, and that character's a barbarian, and like I make everything D&D that's not. But
yeah, I have a lot grimmer story about that, but I'm not going to talk about that on stream.
Oh gosh. I'm
that,
so intrigued now.
that'll be that's a later story, yeah. But yeah, I was comparing everything to D&D, and I was like, dang, okay. Yeah, so we can talk about that later, or maybe in like a very dark game. But
gosh,
what is your favorite? Is that a cliffhanger that?
I can't.
That's
Did
part
you
of
throw
my.
your dog?
That's the part of my
Did you
master
throw your?
storycraft right there. See, now I got you reeled in.
Oh man, yeah. I'm wondering what you did. Like, what did you? Okay. Anyways, we'll leave. We'll drop it. I trust you that it's not appropriate for right now.
Yeah.
And okay. Next,
What
was your
would you
next question?
say your favorite aspect about tabletop games is?
Oh, for sure. It's just the freedom of not having. I mean, there's no invisible borders or nothing like that. It really is. You can do whatever you want to do, whatever you're thinking that your character would do in the moment. You can at least attempt to do.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. That's definitely my favorite thing. And just golly, that's hard. That's hard to say. There's a lot of things that I love about it. The question was, what's my favorite thing about playing?
Yeah. What's your favorite aspect about TTRPGs?
Aspect. Well, and unlike video games, you're playing with other people, so that's the cool. I love it when other people, Well, I guess you can play video games
What
with other
about
people too.
MMOs
Yeah,
or
yeah. And
just
you
online
can
games?
play. Okay, okay, okay. So I didn't, but anyways, uh,
It's different
it's
for sure.
yeah, it's different. Yeah,
There are
yeah. You
RP
you get to
servers
see
on some
creative.
games, but it's not the
Yeah,
same.
I yeah we play with some pretty creative people, or I've seen some creative. It's just neat. I love that part of it too. You
Yeah.
get you get to see that. Hmm.
Let's move over
And
to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I thought you were
well,
buzzing.
I was just gonna say,
Go ahead.
I was brain farted. I was just staring off into the abyss, trying to collect thoughts, and I've lost it. No, did I lose it? One
Dang it.
moment. No, it was the homebrew aspect of D&D too. Like if you, it just the way that the game is constructed, it's just pretty much loose rules of telling a story, and like everything can be homebrewed. I kind of said that earlier, that you can do whatever you want, and I love that about the way the game is built, to where you can make little tweaks, or you can reskin things, and make it what you want. So that's all. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, your imagination is the DLCs, and the
Hmm.
DLCs are unlimited.
Yeah.
That is downloadable content for those the audience that aren't familiar.
Thanks. He was talking to me, guys.
Tell us about your first game. What was your first game?
Mine's a Fandelver with Justin as the DM.
Okay. So
Hmm.
mine's a Fandelver. That's a Faerun
I think,
module, correct?
yeah, I believe that's right. Yeah, and we didn't finish it. Bust him about that.
Um, yeah, I think I only played a couple of episodes because my schedule changed. But I remember I
Hmm.
played the first couple, and you were Annabom, a
Hmm.
half dark elf, correct?
Yeah, half drow rogue. Hmm.
Um,
Yep.
what did you like about the sort of setting or like the involvement of your character. I guess since that was your first game, how did you feel going into it? I guess specifically with the character style that you decided to choose for that game, which was like this, what the edgelord
Yeah,
rogue kind of, right?
yeah.
Probably. I'm not
You're
familiar.
kind of
I
like
didn't get
a
to unravel your backstory or anything, but I know it
well,
was pretty grim, right?
it was grim. Yeah, and for me, that was like the easiest thing for me to play at the time. Justin mentioned that to me later too. He never told me that that was going to be a hard character to play, and I didn't really feel like it was a hard character for me to play. I see where he was going with it though, is it makes it hard for a character like that to be really committed to the party, and I could see that. I don't think that that really came up though. I did do the very no good, very bad thing of splitting myself off from the party and almost got killed. But but I played that character because I mean maybe I'm a little dark, man. I don't really know. It just seemed like a natural fit for me. And when I was looking through all of the abilities and everything of the rogue, I thought that sounded cool, and um, I really enjoyed playing them. Uh, but
How often do you
what was
think
it?
everyone's first character is Batman?
Yeah. It, I
I
don't
think
know.
Gear said that at one point. He's like, yeah, everybody's first character is Batman because
That,
everybody's like,
that,
yeah, I lost my parents to so and so, and now I'm out for revenge. This is such a easy. It's just like one of
maybe
those
that's
backstories
why.
that everybody relates to. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
It feels
everybody.
like it's really common. Um,
Yeah, I would think that. Because I remember when I made the character, I thought this will be a really easy character to play for me, you know, because I don't know anybody. My character wouldn't know anybody, like, and it's just a martial character. I don't have to read all these spells that I have no idea what any of that means or how to do. It just seemed like a really easy
yeah,
character to play, a rogue. So that's what I went with,
and it provides a little
and
mystery about your character that
yeah,
you would hope people would maybe want to. Um, Not that I don't like the Batman uh, backstory. I just think it's funny because I believe like it was like the day or a couple of days before when Gear said that, and then my in-person game, somebody, it was like the first game when they showed up to the table, and that's what their backstory was, is their parents died in like a horrible. I was like, "You're the
yeah.
Batman."
You're the bat. Hey, I mean, whatever works,
Yeah,
whatever
I'm not.
story.
It might sound like I'm knocking it, but I'm definitely not. I like those
No,
characters myself. Like I would play a
I'm
Batman
surprised.
character any day.
Yeah, I'm surprised that it is, because I would think, like, and maybe everybody's like me. They're like, oh, I'm gonna make this different character for my first,
Hmm.
and because they expect you. Like, I would think that normally that somebody would want to play a huge, strong barbarian or something, or a
Yeah,
fighter,
courageous
with their armor.
adventurer.
Yeah, courageous adventurer. Now I wanted to play this shifty rogue,
Hmm.
but yeah, it turns out that there's a lot of people like me, which is good. I mean, that's good.
Night Fury asks, "What is your process for building a character?"
Oh shoot. Um, D&D Beyond.
Is this
No,
loaded?
I'm just kidding. Yeah, because it literally comes from freaking everywhere. Because I've read. Because there's characters where I get inspired by just reading through classes, reading through classes and subclasses and find some mechanic that I like and I build one from there. There's literally I have a Bugs Bunny character built because I was sitting watching TV and I saw Bugs Bunny, and like I said, I turned everything into D&D characters. So I was like, okay, so that's a College of Eloquence bard, and I just went through and made a Paragon Bugs Bunny character. Like it can come from anywhere. The character I'm playing right now in Wansu, um,
Yinsu.
that came from Yinsu.
I will drill
It's
it into
got
your
a
head. It's fine.
yin.
Yin.
It's got a U.
I know, but it's
It's,
pronounced Y-I-N. I
get the
promise you.
heck
It,
out of
it
here.
means elemental or element.
Oh, okay, Yinsu. Okay.
It's very purposeful.
So in the Yuan Su campaign, no, Yin Su
You
campaign.
son of a...
Okay. No, my inspiration for that character, like what made me start was, I don't know if I want to talk about that character too much because we're gonna reveal it as it
Yeah,
goes.
you don't have
I'll
to.
just say, I'll say but what started it was reading through the stuff that you put on Discord, the Pantheon, a little bit of information about all of the different regions, and then the fighting styles. And when I was reading through all of that stuff, and I came upon the Way of the Striking Serpent fighting style, I was like, "Ooh, that's cool. I want to make that." So what's that? Well, I'm probably going to put it right on the nose and make him a Yuan Ti. I'm going to make him a snake person. And then it just went from there. What do I think its weapons would be like? What do I think it would fight like? What's other things like drawing inspiration from other um, the Ka from the Jungle Book was part of the inspiration for the character.
Your voice, I'm
Certain
assuming.
parts. No, I can't say.
Okay, yeah.
But
Don't worry
anyways,
about it. I'm not
yeah.
gonna push that.
But anyways, but it can be. It comes from. It comes from all over the place. Whatever strikes me, and then I try to build a character off of it. But wherever the inspiration comes from, I will be kind of meta, and I will say, okay, so how does it deal with threats? And then I'll kind of go from there. Like how does it fight pretty well, or avoid fighting?
After you said that Ka is part of your inspiration, I'm really disappointed that you don't have like a Winnie the Pooh voice.
Yeah, that's true. No, it's not the voice of Ka. No, I told you where the voice I need to do better, and it may change as we go. But the voice that I would, because he's going to be he's kind of a more charismatic character, supposedly. We'll see how it goes. But the voice for it was from I'm a snake. I'm a little snake. That's where the voice is supposed to come from, but not in a, maybe not quite that comical, but
yeah, it's hard to not speak like that and be comical.
Yeah, be super serious. Yeah.
I'm a snake. I'm a snake.
Hey guys, how's it going? Yes.
Chadman is kind of famous for building broken or mid-maxed characters that feel comfortable at the table. How do you do that? Says Night Fury.
Oh shit. Aw. Thanks, Monica. Thanks, Night Fury. Well, like I said, when I think of the character and what I want them to look like and act like, and just kind of had the general feel, well, then the next thing is, what do they fight like? And and then I'll pick a class. Like, what's the cool thing that they do? What's the cool thing that they can do? Whether it's attack with weapons or cast spells, or just shut something, and then I'll start looking at other classes that I could dip into the synergize. And that's as long as it's, but I don't want to get too off base of where it's not thematically correct, like if I don't want to have that role play experience of somebody that has to answer to a patron or something like that, then I won't. multi-classing the warlock or whatever it is. But I don't know. There's so many subclasses and different classes, and that you can find something that adds to both role play and combat and whatever the thing is that you want your character to do. There's a class that can do it, and I guess that's my answer. I'm trying to think. What am I missing, Ethan?
I feel like the character builds and the stats are irrelevant. I think
You think it's irrelevant?
I think you just are able to role play the characters that you choose to play really well.
Oh, thank you.
I think you could
That's
have
a
all
good-
zeros with your stats, and you could be classless, and you would.
I don't know.
I think all you need is a backstory, and I feel like you would bring a great character to the game.
Well, thank you.
No problem.
That means a lot, because I do feel like sometimes, because I am not. There's definitely other players. You know, I am thinking of Justin, who they have. It's just something that I don't have, and it's that I do have it. I do have it more than some, maybe, the imagination. But man, I feel less than every time I'm playing with them. I'm just like, golly, you have such an imagination, man. Like, it's so detailed. But I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, and I do. You know, some of it is just I think about my characters a lot too. That probably adds to it. While I'm diving into the mechanics and planning to play a character, you know, I'll think about them, you know, quite a bit at work or whatever. And I try, even if I don't write it down, I try to always come up with a pretty thorough backstory.
Yeah,
No, I feel like that's important.
I don't usually measure anyone like, you know, greater than or less than, but I do believe that everybody has their own sort of highlights and cool things that they bring to the table. So
Yeah, definitely.
and then, you know, whenever the individuals choose to emphasize those things, they really stand out and makes for a great game.
Yes, I agree. Could not agree more. Oh, I was going to say something else, but I'm blanking again. Can't remember what it was. I had something else, though.
Well, if it comes back to
Dang
you,
it.
feel free to let us know.
Oh, I do remember.
Okay.
It was you said all zeros. No, that's some old BS right there, because you get to the point where you want to do the cool thing, and then that dice roll tells you no.
But that's
You don't
also
need to do-
BS because if you're playing a game where you don't have stats or a table or a board.
Oh, I see what you're. I was misunderstanding what you're saying. I got you. Yeah, yeah. In that case,
yeah, you know, better stats will help you succeed, I guess, on your endeavors. But regardless of whether you succeed or the outcome of what you're trying to do doesn't work out the way you plan, that doesn't change how you role played the scenario. It still doesn't.
yeah,
Change the outcome of how you decided to bring your character to life by the way you enacted the actions that you were trying to do.
That's a good point. Yeah, it doesn't affect the role play. It just
It just affects the outcome
I agree.
of what you're trying to do. That's the way I see it. But
No, that's a good. Yeah, that's a good point.
back to your first game.
Hmm.
how would you say, or if you can remember, interactions with the other players, just starting off for your first game? Um, how did that go for you? Like in the game and out of the game, as like a social experience for you? That's kind of a packed
Um,
question too.
yeah, man, it's been a minute, and I'm trying to think back. I know that I was hooked for sure. I can say that I was having enough fun that I was definitely not gonna stop playing. And all the things that we've said so far about playing were true, and I noticed immediately pretty well. But as far as with the other players, I remember it being good, and there was one player in particular that seemed unenthused sometimes, but I guess he was busy, I guess. But other than that, I remember it being because I remember it was me, you, Monica, Kevin, Barrett, and then Justin. I think his name is Barrett.
Yeah, I
And
believe
then
that's right.
Justin was DMing, and I thought, and man, I had a blast. And the other characters I connected with, and it was a it was a good experience. And I was like, okay, because to be honest, and to show my skirt a little bit, uh, I'm in a I did not know what to think about guys, a bunch of grown ass people getting together and playing pretend and what that was going to be like. And that first group, just immediately, I was like, number one, oh, this is a lot of fun and this is really cool. And there's a lot of creativity allowed here, and you're just telling stories. But also, it was an acceptance. It's like, hey, man, these people think this is awesome too, and this is kind of like a judgment free. And it was just kind of an eye opening thing to why was I so reluctant to this? Like, what was it about me that what was it about me that thought that this wasn't okay to do, or maybe not okay, but not cool to do, or whatever the heck I thought.
Yeah,
And that first group, just being with other people that yeah, it was a really good thing.
are you
I remember
saying
that. I
that
don't know if
you haven't tried to start a game with your coworkers? Is that
I've
what?
told him about it. Yeah, I told him, and I actually talked in. I guarantee because Justin knows this guy. I don't know if he's listening or not. Monica doesn't. I don't think knows him, but my one of my bosses at work actually I've talked to him about it, and he went and saw the D&D movie in theaters with his kids,
Nice. That's a start.
and he said he loved it. Said he loved it, and I was like, really? Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
the movie
And
is pretty comical.
I've turned him on to some other fantasy type stuff too. But I mean, but honestly, I was kind of silly with that stuff. And if you like watch the Lord of the Rings and you think it's just dumb, then maybe you're dumb. Maybe that's the.
Ouch.
You think Lord of the Rings is dumb? You hate the Lord of the Rings?
No, but I mean, we may have some
Okay,
audience members
sorry
that
guys.
aren't
I'm sorry. Sorry,
Lord of
audience
the Rings
members. No,
fans. I mean, I
if
am a
you
Lord
if
of the Rings fan. I watched the Lord of the Rings series so many times. At one point, I believe it was during high school that like I had all of the lines memorized, and me
yeah,
and
I feel
it was
yeah.
like a thing that me and my brothers did. We just watched that, or we'd watch the Star Wars series over and over, or uh, yeah, Etma TV. Yeah, me and Spio have watched it a few times. KW, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to offend anybody, but I will say though that if you're kind of like plenty of people I know, maybe quite a few that I work with, and you think, less of, I don't, if there's just, what I'm trying to say. There's people out there that
Yeah, I
they,
understand. I feel like
they don't understand the fantasy stuff, and
I
it's so much creativity involved in all of it.
I
You're creating a different world.
I would really hope that the people who say that they don't like Lord of the Rings have at least watched it, and not just because of like, uh, they're afraid of what people might think because they like a medieval fantasy
There
type
you go. Yeah.
thing. I mean,
Hmm. Right.
Tolkien's stories are good. I know there's critics of Peter Jackson as well, but I feel like all of those movies, I I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed them, of course, because I watched them a million times. But I also really love the genre too. Like medieval fantasy is my jam.
Hmm.
So, I mean, my first character was Oleron, which is literally one of Gandalf's names, and I was playing an old wizard. So I was basically Gandalf, and I was like a homebrewed, or it was an Unearthed Arcana theurgy wizard. So I was basically like a cleric wizard and had Radiance of the Dawn, and I was trying to portray that. Gear is famously not the biggest fan of Lord of the Rings. Well,
Yeah, I'm not talking to Gear.
tell
Not talking to
Gear to
freaking.
get over it, to buy the
You
Blu-ray
can-
set and rewatch it again. And then you guys just keep rewatching it over and over until he starts enjoying it. And then that's all I got to say.
Yeah. Just
Yep, mandatory watch party. All games are hereby canceled until Gear Duo officially watches the entire series via watch party.
no, he needs to watch Avatar as well. Yeah,
Avatar is
we got.
solid.
Oh,
I feel
Avatar's
like he
good.
would
Yeah.
really like Avatar. So,
Oh, for sure he would.
yeah.
But just that I'm in a part of the world, which that a lot of the guys, a lot of the people around me, a lot of my peers, you know, which I'm learning that it's more and more that do now as I talk about it more, because I really do talk about it at work quite a bit. Like guys at work know I play D&D once a week, uh, and if some of them kind of steer at it, think that it's crazy or whatever, I was like, man, you just have to. It's just something I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Um,
Where else are you gonna
but
like hold a flaming sword and slay the
exactly,
enemies of your god and in a holy righteous conquest to victory?
that's right. That's right. Tell stories. Like, are they getting together and coming up with worlds and stories and characters? No, they're just, you know. Well, maybe they are. I don't know. I don't know, but I doubt it very seriously.
Too busy watching the NFL.
Yeah, watching. Yeah, or watching to see if a bobber sinks, which I like doing too. I like doing both those things too. I can like doing all the things.
Yeah. I haven't watched anything like that in a while. Last part of this question involving your first game. How did it affect you on a personal level, in or out of the game?
Um, Definitely like I working on how to come up with things on the spot. Say what I'm thinking. Don't be scared of what don't be. And this has been I might not have done it the best in the first game that I played, but this is something that I realized quickly during the first game is, oh, when you're constantly having pause about the thoughts that you're having and you're playing an imaginary character, where anything goes and everything's okay, you may have something you need to work on, and that's that's what I've been, and I have been working on that, and that's affected me huge. Just saying what I'm saying, speaking what I'm thinking. Because that's the way. It's really hard to do improv if you're constantly checking yourself to say, oh, is what I'm thinking my character would say okay or good or whatever. If you can just get into that headspace of your character and you just let it flow, then it's a whole lot easier to roll, and you don't have all of these duh, duh, duh moments that slow the game down and don't seem authentic.
Yeah. Excellent.
I'll still have plenty of the duh, duh, duh moments, but
Yeah, as we all.
that's not because, yeah, that's because my mind is just pure nothingness at that moment, which happens, on the regular.
Yeah. Plus, most of the time it's late in the evening after dealt with everybody and been working all day, so everybody's brain's kind of mush. So there's definitely room for a few brain farts here and there. So I don't think
Yeah,
anybody was going to hold that against you, especially since
yeah.
everybody has them.
But when you're role playing a character, and you're in your head about that, and you're not saying what you want to do, what you want to say. You're thinking like, what's everybody going to think about this, or what negative consequences going to come up? I mean, you do that some, but I mean, I could tell that I really did it a lot in the beginning, and there's a lot of me pausing and freezing up, and like not. And another thing that I do naturally is I try to come up with the way I think things are about to go, and then my answers to the way, it can be a conversation with my wife or kids or whoever. I'm asking them questions, but I've already worked out 3 or 4 answers and how to react. Well, then when they give me something that I haven't thought of them saying, I could freeze. Well, that was it's something I'm working on, because when you're doing that, you're not really listening. You're just um, I don't know. I might be going off on, like, I'm not trying to do therapy here or nothing like that. But that is something that's something else, is just like, hey, just go with it and listen, uh, instead of trying to always think of your next move. Just listen and react.
For sure.
Not so true. Not so true in battle. You kind of need to have
Just
something
listen and
planned in
react.
battle. Yeah,
Unless you're like far away, maybe.
maybe.
Or a ranger, possibly. Or a rogue.
Mm-hmm. Snipe.
All right. So we talked about your first game, which was a shorter game. Let's move over to your first longer game, which, if I'm not mistaken, was Numestria.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel? So these are all basically like the same questions, kind of comparing and contrasting, like a short versus a longer term game. So, what were your thoughts, as far as like setting and the involvement of how you were playing with the game, like in a homebrew setting as well?
I am struggling to comprehend your question very
Okay.
well.
Yeah, I didn't
The
ask it
the
very well.
setting was cool. The setting was really cool. No, the setting sucked.
I guess it's more comparing and contrasting, like the involvement of your character, of how you played your character. So,
Uh,
what would you say
okay.
some differences are in like the depth or detail in which you tried to portray your character in like a shorter term setting versus how you decided to like flesh out your character for a potentially long term setting, to where you could like unfold a character over time versus maybe not even necessarily having
Yeah.
that
Well,
depth of character.
definitely. Yeah, it is. I guess it is different. I feel like I might be a little maybe not the best one because I did play two different. Well, I guess it was it was messed up because I started with one character, then I switched to another character, and that but my first character was still, so I kind of had that weird thing going on. But I definitely having, I mean, because your backstory was more important and the way that you were connected to the world is more important. So that made, um, yeah, in a long campaign, which we haven't. Hmm, man, that's a hard question because our my characters are so different.
Yeah,
My one character was so disconnected in Batman style,
yeah,
and then my other character was very much had roots, had family and friends, had so that was a I don't know how much was the long form campaign and how much was just my character that had connections and people that he cared about in the world. Uh, but either way, I can definitely say that my character, yeah, the things that happened, you just when your character cares about it, I mean, it just affects you. Like you care about things. It's easier to role play because you're actually feeling it. You know, um, I prefer the long games to have backstory, to have connections. It just makes I just think it makes the role play easier.
yeah.
I don't know if that answered your question or
Yeah,
not.
no, it was perfectly fine. I know it's kind of
Wi-
it's
in role play, I don't know if, like you said earlier, I don't know if it makes you always do the best thing, the smartest thing as far as like killing the bad guy quickly, but it makes, which is like you're saying, isn't really the goal. The goal is to feel like you're really connected to this world that you're building, and it's definitely easier to do that with a character that has roots.
yeah, and I think that pretty well answers the next question, which is talking about like the interaction of players um, in different worlds like that. Um, so I'll just go on to the next one. What are some things that you may have done different with the experience that you have now?
Hmm.
With either game or any game really, if you can think of any like key moments or just in general, um, it could be play style, it could be anything. Is there anything that you've thought of, like maybe after a game or after, like a campaign or something, and you're like, man, I maybe I should have done this at this point or changed this at another. Have you ever gotten any of those moments, or have you just pretty well been
No
satisfied with
regrets.
no regrets?
No,
Solid.
I
And
get.
that's
I
an
mean,
answer.
really not. Not really not because that's the cool thing. Like I did feel like with my character in the Maestria campaign that sometimes he was a little much because he was strong. He was a little on the broke side. You nerfed him. He was still broke, and but that's the cool thing about D&D. Like the DM can change things. He can change things behind under the table to or you yourself if you feel like you're still in thunder or then there's other things that you can do. um I don't There are a few times I think with that character there was like I tried to save stuff some, but that's all mechanically stuff, like mechanical stuff. I wish I would have used all my abilities more. Like just go ahead and use them. Quit trying to save them. Just do the fun thing that you want to do.
Save
You
them for the
know?
boss fight.
Yeah, yeah. You're trying to. I mean, and that is something that you need to do, I guess sometimes. But the main thing is you're trying to have fun. Use the fun thing, I guess. You know.
Yeah.
So that would be my only regrets would be stuff like that. Nothing I've done really in role play that I can think of. I mean, I've had dumb moments, I'm sure, but not really any regrets.
Gotcha. Another question from Night Fury. You're good at taking space and giving others space. How do you go about that?
Um, I don't know. Maybe it's because I do that. I don't really just in real life. Like, just imagine that I was, because that's what I try to do. Heck, most of the time I'm not even looking at the map or the screen. I really can't look at. I mean, I know normally I don't have my camera working. Can you hear kids screaming in the background?
Yeah.
Bad.
It's okay.
Is it bad? Let me. You want me to mute? Hold on. I'll mute and shush real quick. I'll hit the.
Okay. We'll go ahead and take a little 3-minute ad break to get it out of the way. We'll be right back. Gotta be right back screen. Just chilling by the fire. While Chadman silences the children with his athletics check with advantage. We will be back shortly.
That was an intimidation check, is what that was.
Intimidation check. That's right. Yeah. Athletics would be after the intimidation check, I guess.
Or dexterity, catch them little, wrangle them up. Grapple check.
Yeah.
They all have super low strength checks for
now.
Their acrobatics is pretty decent though. Are we on break or are we back live?
Oh, we can hear your voice. Still chatting, just have the short rest. We currently have an ad going for another minute and a half.
Gotcha. All right, yeah, the kids are gonna put their audio back on too.
Nice.
I almost guarantee you they will.
All right, where were we?
We were on Chad rolling like a 10 on his intimidation check, so
Ah,
we'll see what happens.
gotcha. Well,
Indecisive.
I have to give you advantage next time, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep, so I asked about things you may have done different. Short term
No
versus
regrets?
long term. Was there anything that did the game affect you like on a personal level, as far as like in or out of the game?
Did the game affect me on a personal level?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. As much as any story, any good story does. Which I mean, a good story will affect you. You'll think about it. You think about it outside of work. You think about it, or you think about it at work, outside of the game. At home. Yeah, in that way it does. Just like you watch a good movie, you're thinking about it on the way home. I'm thinking about it when we get done. In that way, yeah, and then some of the moments in the game that were powerful. My character experienced loss. Well, my character and me both experienced loss in that game because we had one of the guys I really loved playing with was out of the game for what, like 2 months. And I thought, and you think back, like, what's things I could do to avoid that? Like, what's something that my character could have done? How's my character feeling about that? And it affects you, like, negatively, but in a good way, because that you're telling a good story. If it's making you feel like real-ish emotions, then you're telling a good story. And it's I love that part of D&D too. I love that part of it. Because anytime you're feeling emotions like that, and you're just telling a story, I think it's a pretty powerful thing. Not to try to get too cheesy with it, Ethan.
Well, I hope I can get to some like masterful storytelling level, but I guess if I want to do that, I should probably start reading stories. Which I have mentioned before. That is something on my to-do list whenever I can find time between everything else. There are some books that I do want to read, though. But yeah, storytelling, huge, obviously, but, just one of those skills that, like anything else, can be honed and sharpened.
Right. Well, it's just you have a real person that's, putting their thoughts and efforts into a character, and you're connect. It's
I say a lot too. I do say a lot too. Is every time I think about storytelling, I'm like thinking from the DM perspective, but I always like immediately get drawn back to. But the PCs make the story though.
Yeah, you're just kind of like you're just guiding. You're the guide. You're the tour guide.
Yeah, the narrator.
Yeah.
In between scenes.
Right. But yeah, that part. That is one of the moments though, like when Malik died in Numestria. And I tried to role play that, as good as I could without being like super doom and gloom. But like Chad thought about the moments that my character had with that character earlier in the campaign, and like I tried to put myself in the mind of what my character would be going through. And it affected me, and I think that's so cool. I think that's a cool thing. I don't know if that answers anything. I don't even remember what your question was. Ethan.
That's the best part. It really doesn't matter.
It doesn't. Nothing really
We're
matters.
just here to chat. Have a good
Yeah.
time. Favorite character interaction?
uh, the what's the frog?
A frog?
The old Greg inspired character.
That was like a fish person.
Fish person, that's
I
right.
can't. Gosh, I can't even remember what their race is called. I think it starts with an L.
That the other one was not even a character I don't know if that's probably not my favorite character interaction. There's a lot of moments.
Young Craig is not your favorite
Young
character.
Craig.
Little
The
fish
young
dude.
Craig,
He's
the
just like a little
freaking
fish
dolphins.
guy.
The dolphins was hilarious.
I don't even remember the dolphins.
You don't remember when Wilhelm gave old Craig gave Wilhelm the water breathing ring that he put on his toe, and then then I went swimming with the dolphins the next episode, like talking to him as I was like coming up out of the water, and you don't remember none of that, bro?
I remember the dolphins, but I don't remember like the specific interaction.
Oh well, those are funny moments, I guess. I don't know if that's my favorite character interaction. My my favorite character interaction of that campaign was probably when my are we running it? It's not we didn't stream none of that or record any of that, did we? So I'm not ruining anything. Okay. But when the character that that was a super, even though the character I was playing at the time wasn't the same one I was, me seeing the character that had fallen, that like I said, I had felt real emotions about, come back as a kind of an evil character, bad guy. That interaction with my new character and that whole story being brought back, and it's a lot to explain right now. You know the instance I'm talking about, but that's kind of going back to one of your other questions. That's something that happens in a long campaign where you can have this intricate story within a story that all comes to a head in a moment. That kind of stuff doesn't happen, and can't happen and wouldn't affect you the same way as if you hadn't, lived something out for a year and seen all of this come together in a way.
Yeah,
that was a really cool. That was a really cool moment, I thought. I don't know if that. Definitely. My favorite. There's so many. There's a ton of good character moments.
I think my favorite interaction with you in a game would be Captain Deepfoot and Vinny.
Oh yeah. They had they kind of had a relationship, didn't they? It was like a love-hate relationship. Yeah.
Evan, did you record those sessions by chance? I'm curious.
Yeah, I was like the I was
because
I was like the right. Yeah, I was the right-hand man, but also the doormat, and I liked it, and I hated you and talked, and my character kind of talked smack to you, but also was like deeply upset when you favored someone else. That was a cool dynamic. It was a cool dynamic.
Yeah, I enjoyed that whole game. So.
Yeah, it was fun.
The question everybody has been waiting for. First off, where's the music? The second question everybody's been waiting for. What does it take to be the build master?
Oh, I'm not the build.
Out of our group, I would say you're probably the build master.
Well, I came up
Or should I say
think the
master
reason
builder?
getting close to the word that don't get me started.
Well, I'll save it for
Anyways,
the Lego movie, not anything sexual.
yeah.
So
Okay, I'm sorry. Also that guy. Sorry, guys. Um, I think a lot of me learning the game and the way the mechanics part of the game was from me buying. I bought a subscription to D&D Beyond. I bought some of the books, on D&D Beyond. And instead of reading like some people do that are probably, slightly more intelligent than me, I just make characters because that's what was fun and that's what I wanted to do. So I would just go through and I would just make characters and make characters and make characters and scroll through and read. And that's how I did all. I wouldn't go through a list of spells. I would go like I would just make characters and I would look at different spells on during creation, and that's how I learned pretty much everything was from. That's how I learned what all the spells did. It's all off in right now. If you tell me to look up a spell, I'll go to D&D Beyond, pull up a character, level them up to the level that I mean, I don't even type it in. I just go. I've gotten so used to using that's just what I do for everything. And then I learned and through doing that, I just learned what subclasses did what ability scores each classes need and all the different things. And you just start plugging and playing, and multiclassing is awesome. Multiclassing is not always optimal, not always, definitely not always optimal, but it always, I'm drawn to it because I like to feel like I've kind of put my own stamp on something. I don't know. There's something to having a straight class, which is amazing, and you still have so many things you can do. And like you said, the role play is where you really put your touch on things. But I like mixing and matching, plugging and playing. So that's it. And that's how I learned all the mechanics was through character creation.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
The multiclassChad.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where your name comes from?
Yeah. Yeah, because y'all give me crap about it. Give me crap about always multiclassing and trying to bust characters. And I do like playing a powerful character because like you said with the role play, but I do want my character to be able to. I normally think of one really cool thing that I'd like my character to be able to do that most base classes can't, and then I try to make it happen and make it make sense.
Yeah, completely understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Future aspirations. You have any goals of anything you'd like to do?
Well, I'm hoping that I just started the long journey of playing a 1 to 20 campaign. I'm hopeful. I would like to do that because I know that there's a lot of people. Hell, there's a lot of people that have played for years that have never done that. And I think that it would be cool. I'd like to see how all that works, even if it is clunky, because I know that super high level play is probably super hard for a dungeon master to judge, like in balancing encounters and such. But I would like to see it. I'd like to see how all that works. I'd like to fight a god. I'd like to, I'd like to fight a dragon first off, like a, real deal dragon. That would be cool. Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. For sure.
I still have yet to do like a really intense dungeon crawl that lasts other than us being stuck with the trolls in that one cave for forever, for 3 sessions. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up. It's fine. There's a lot. Mm-hmm. There's so much stuff. that I have. I want to do everything in D&D. I want to play all kinds. I would like to
want
play a
it
modern
all.
day. Yeah, I would like to play a modern day setting. I'd like to play. There's so much that I'd like to be able to play. I understand that everybody really would like for me to get to the place where I could DM at some point. That seems exhausting to me right now. But
Yeah, and I mean it's perfectly
I
fine if you don't want to as well. I mean,
yeah.
sometimes just being a player is more comfortable.
Hmm.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
necessary for everybody that plays D&D to necessarily want to be a DM,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
sometimes
right.
the other way around.
But I would like to be able to because I know that you guys that DM all the time like to play too, and I would like to be one of the people that could provide that for you guys since y'all have done it for me so much, just to return the favor type of thing, you know. But that's something that eventually I would like to do.
We won't turn you down, but
Yeah.
but
Right. I
yeah,
know you won't.
I also would encourage everyone to not feel that you have to D&D or have to be the DM because you know you're mostly a player or you want the other DMs to have their chance. The good thing about our little group is that we have multiple DMs, so there's always different games going on, and we have chances to jump in and play ourselves. So it's not really an issue.
Right. And I haven't felt pressure from you guys. I want to say that too. I haven't felt pressured to or anything like that. It's just something that I would like to do. I'd like to be able to do that for you guys to play too, if you wanted to.
If you do get pressure from us, or if it feels like we're trying to pressure you, it's only because we want to play a game or play in a story that
Yeah.
that somebody else creates. You know, it's not
Hmm.
necessarily about like,
Come on, you're
yeah,
slacking.
we just want to we
Type
want
thing.
you to DM because you haven't done it yet. It's your turn. It's more like
Yeah. No.
It's more
Yeah.
like I'm curious to see what a game would be like ran through uh, the eyes of Chadman or ran through the eyes of Night Fury or anyone else out of our group. You know, it's like, what do you think the differences between like a situation given to us would happen if, you know, Night Fury was narrating or like, you know, differently from like me or Gear currently, you know? The story could go like in completely different directions, possibly, and it could lead us to experiences that we haven't got to utilize yet, or you know, just always
You
different
know,
possibilities with different thought processes.
thinking of Night Fury running a game, the first thing that pops in my head is like, oh, she's not going to kill any characters. But then the second thing, right, like immediately following after that is
Oh, she's gonna
she might
kill all our
want to
characters.
she might want to kill all of the characters. Like,
You hear that, Night Fury? Chadman said it, not me.
she might want
The
to
next
kill
game we
all
play
the
together, don't
characters
kill me.
and just
I
yeah,
didn't do it.
just laugh
Where's
and
your
just
healer now?
keep Justin up all night, scared because she's just giggling to herself in the corner after she kills all of her characters. I think that's in the cards for Night Fury.
Where's your healer
Sorry, Mom.
now?
Oh.
I know you're referencing because you play healers a lot, but I feel like if you were the DM, this would be an opportunity that you would take to just straight up murder our healer and be like, where's your healer now? And then
Hmm.
we're all like, oh, fuck, we're dead. All right.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I will have. I will have problems. Yeah, if I do DM. Yeah.
Night Fury,
Anyways.
Divine Smites, our healer in the group
Mm-hmm. First thing.
at 30th level, and then
30. Oh gosh, 30. He counter spells the healing word to bring someone up. That's one of the.
And counterspell.
And counterspell. Nope.
Does anybody else have counterspell to counterspell my counterspell? What, you're level 2?
Oh, just
sorry.
Oh, but you can't. You can't because I expended this sorcery point to subtle spell that counterspell. Mm-hmm. And now they're dead.
Does our audience members have any questions that they would like to ask Chadman here? And do you have any questions, Chadman?
I wasn't expecting to have the opportunity to ask questions.
Reverse card. Psh, slam down. Now it's your turn to interview.
Interview you?
Your duo says, what is your favorite thing about Justin? Asking for a friend.
I already said it. He must not have been watching the whole time.
Oh, yeah. You have to rewatch the VOD.
Dang.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Creativity. Creativity and and the setting a scene, putting the scene, like the imagery is my favorite thing about playing with Justin. For sure.
Solid qualities.
Yeah.
Night Fury says, what style of game would you like to play in? One that you haven't experienced.
I would like to play in so many games. I would like to play in like I said, a modern day. I'd like to play in a present day game, kind of like Unsleeping City vibes. I know she's seen it. I would like to play in an Old West style game because I was raised watching westerns with my grandpa, and I think that is really cool. That might be something that I could run actually. I would like to play in a sci-fi futuristic game. Past, present, future, underwater, completely in the sky, backwards, forwards, every way that you can think. I would like to play. I do like green eggs and ham.
I would like one of each, please.
Yeah.
Night Fury Chapman says that he wants the buffet of game types to play in.
Yeah.
The poo-poo platter.
I've never heard of anybody pitching a game where I'm like, nah, I wouldn't want to play in that. No, I just like playing and telling the stories and creating characters. You know, there's a ton of characters that I want to play too.
Yeah, I feel you there. I don't know.
I'm trying to think of a.
Oh, good.
I'm trying to think of a question for you, Ethan. We got a lot of questions.
What are some of the characters you want to play? Geardio asks.
Well, I don't want to give it away. But I would like to play for a good amount of time with every single class in the game. I'm not too concerned with all the different races, but like that doesn't matter so much to me. Well, there's some races I want to play too that are neat, but I want to be able to play every. I want to play every class for a decent amount of time. And and maybe that's what I'm trying to do with the multi-class thing. I'm trying to like get little taste of
Get all
every
of
class as
them.
quick as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, every class. I think every class is so cool, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens with 1D and D2. Um, I hope that they don't. I mean, I know they're going to make changes, but I really like what is in 5e already. You know,
Yeah.
I
I
hoping
like
they
where they
add to
are.
it. And I'm lazy. I don't want to relearn everything like from ground up.
That's pretty much where I'm at.
But I will, though. I totally will if that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Nerd out on it.
Nerd out on it.
I'm excited about my in the oh my gosh, I almost did it again. Yunsu. In the Yunsu campaign, I'm excited about the character that I'm playing. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I've been thinking about this character since uh well, Evan announced it that he was wanting to run it. I pretty much had the character nailed down, already made up, had the character sheet made already when he announced it.
Yeah,
So,
I'm trying to think if I had any different character. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think I've had the same character planned out as well. Now I may have altered like just features or like background stuff or whatever to more match the flavor that I'm trying to portray for him, but
I
yeah, I've
actually
been
had,
excited for the character that I've chose as well. I've had them been wanting to be them for a while. Let's say that.
yeah, I had my character planned, and I had like not just the first level, but multiple levels planned out what I was gonna do. And then I kept seeing, because I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube, you know, guys that talking about D&D or whatever, and I saw a bunch of them do. They were talking about this multi-class that I was about to do, and I was like, well, they ruined it for me. Now I have to do something different, and so I'm kind of doing something different, but I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I've made a few little changes too. But like
Is it just
you
because
said,
you're like just just the thought of like, oh, you know, somebody's already done it, so I'm just copying sort of deal,
uh,
or is this?
a little bit, yeah. But I mean, there is nothing that I'm gonna do that somebody else hasn't already done.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
true.
I
I mean,
know
yeah, I'm sure
that, but
somebody out there sent it. But
but I don't want to do the popular thing that like three different channels of
yeah, that somebody's
talk
made a
about how
YouTube
this is.
video and
Yeah, a bunch of people have made YouTube videos. Hey, this is a super awesome S tier or whatever. I'm like, crap. I don't want to do that.
yeah. That kind of goes back to the comments that I made earlier about, you know, your stats could all be zeros. Like,
Exactly, because that's what I
whenever
was
I
about to
build a
say too.
character, if it is a broken build, it's by accident.
Yeah,
Because,
yeah,
you know, and sometimes it does kind of feel bad because, like, you know,
yeah. You don't want to
I'll
cast a
build a
shadow.
I'll build a character, and it'll just be like, it's like, well, I am going for all more like RP stuff, but my character does shit for damage. But that's okay. But that's just kind of like, I guess the nature of the beast for how I build my characters. Unfortunately,
Hmm.
not that I think that this one's gonna be that.
Lackluster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because this is a monk and they're broken, right?
No,
Don't
they're
worry,
not.
I know your thoughts on that. So, yep.
Yeah.
Uh,
Every monk.
it'll be fun.
No, I'm not gonna say it. Yeah, I'm excited. I like your character. I love your character already from the first introduction with his wives, and that was awesome.
Yeah, if I start to
It's
feel a
cool.
little lackluster, I might reach out to you for a multi-class
No.
tip.
Yeah.
What should it be? Rogue, sneak attack? Is that where it goes?
I think I don't want to say Ethan because I want you to do whatever you want to do. But yeah, I don't, I'm not gonna say Ethan.
Hmm.
And Rogue would be cool though. Rogue would be cool. Um, yeah. The thing, it just depends on what you, because there's some classes that like things come, but you don't have to do that. You can just steal the mechanics from a class and not have to role play into the class at all, right? You can multi-class cleric and not really be talking to the gods and stuff. You can,
It's true.
you can multi-class and
Nobody has to know.
nobody has to know. Nobody's gonna know. They're gonna know though. They're gonna.
Nobody's gonna know.
Yeah, Justin's like, I'm not going to tell you what class I am. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not. You're not going to know what class I am. And the first thing he does is cast Eldritch Blast. It's like, oh, I don't know what class you are. Really? And he might have taken a fee.
Gear said that Malik whooped that ass.
He did. Yeah, he totally did. He was in he's in Wilhelm's head really bad. That was a really cool scene. That was probably the coolest like full circle moment so far for me in D&D. And yes, he was also a very good villain.
So that was like just more for Chad than it couldn't have been for your character though, because I mean you were Wilhelm at the time, so that was definitely just like full circle for Chad, right?
It was full circle for me. Yeah, but it connected both of my characters too. Because like Chad remembered Justin's character, and Chad remembers having a character that was friends with Justin, but also that affected the Werebear tribe that my new character was a member of.
Mm.
So it connected both, and that's what he was messing because it was he was telling the truth. It was just that was a really cool moment. And the fact that the other party member was avoiding talking about that to my character the entire time, and then it was really neat. I thought it was so cool. And our party almost died because of me role playing that, as I thought needed to happen.
Almost killed everybody. It's fine.
Almost killed everybody, but yeah.
Everybody.
Cool.
If everybody would have died there, it would have been fine too.
Yeah, that would have been.
I'll just be the dick DM and force that. Yeah.
What is it?
Oh. I'd like to see more characters asking for that. I'm not sure what. I got lost. We'll have to maybe figure that out after stream.
Oh,
that is something. Emma says that is something I want to see more of. DM making the characters actually do something that would cause them to be able to multi-class, like needing a divine intervention or train from clerics. Okay, so like if you're wanting to multi-class, then there's more of a story element involved instead of just being like, oh, I leveled up, I'm gonna take this because I have these stats, I have the prereqs.
Yeah.
But it'd be like, oh, well, I'm a fighter or whatever, and I found the god of Sundaria, and I want to join their ranks, and you have to like RP going on some sort of pilgrimage
It's way cooler
up,
if you
up
do.
to the mountain, yeah, to visit the shrine of the ever burning brazier that sits and burns during the sunset, and you have to sit there and not move for like a week straight.
Right. Yeah. I think it's way, in the multi classes that I've done so far, I think it's been role played in that a change happened, a thing happened
Yeah.
where, I mean, I think you definitely should do. I didn't mean to sound like I was discouraging that you do that. But you should definitely do that. Just, think about it. But that's the thing. That's why I plan all my characters out like um, what I want to do, so I can role play that out.
Yeah. And it sounds like that is going to be something that Etma is going to provide that for us.
Sweet.
So, yeah, for you multi-classers out there, better be prepared to earn it, mother.
For sure. For sure. And it makes the abilities make sense, and then it makes it easier to role play when things come about, like when you see how your character, when you know the backstory, it makes role playing easier. Period.
Yeah, and I've been watching. Me and my wife have been watching campaign 2 of Critical Role. Slowly but surely, there's like 1 million episodes, and we watch just like a few hours at a time, a night here and there. So it's going to be a couple of years probably before we even finish. But
how many episodes is there?
I don't remember exactly.
Like almost,
but there's a lot.
200.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed that on most occasions, when they level up, they'll typically have some sort of like private scene where people like they get up and have all the other players kind of like leave the table, or there'll be some sort of scene essentially that kind of portrays that sort of progression, or they're visited, or something happens whenever they level. And I thought that was kind of cool. That's something that I wish I would have known about before, for like leveling characters that play in my games. Because I think that's a cool sort of story element that I may have missed on. But yeah, the only thing that I can really remember is like the transition of maybe Rolflin between the awakened soul, and then taking on like becoming, I guess, a knight for the Shadow King, essentially.
Yeah, that was cool. I liked it.
I think I like it.
Yeah.
Geardo says, I do the opposite. I plan nothing for my classes and levels and take the opportunities in game. We have been exploring solo scenes here a lot lately in our games. Building the foundations of storytelling and gameplay will lead into those moments. Absolutely. All right. A couple more questions, if anybody has them. Chad, do you have any questions? If not, we'll refer to our audience that has been graciously providing us with.
Ethan, do you think that powerful characters can more easily take away from the game than they can add?
What do you mean powerful?
I mean, I know you like, say, like a broken character. a character that's busted to bits. Do you think that those moments when they create those moments where they use abilities that are a little on the broken side, do you think that that's more often a cool moment that's fun for like the rest of the play, not the person playing it, but the rest of the characters in the DM, or do you think that it's more likely to be problematic?
Um, so I'm trying to think of experiences where I've played with people that I thought their characters were broken, but nothing really comes to mind. But I guess as the DM, I don't think that there's anything bad about it, I guess. Um, I'd say where the issues come into, my personal opinion, would be just balancing fights. So,
Mhm.
like, we're just going to go ahead and use Wilhelm, for example.
Yeah,
Um, if Wilhelm can, like, one or two shot the monster that I throw at you,
yeah,
that will change things in the future. Because I can't just throw that same monster at you guys. Yeah, Wilhelm, Stone Tower.
uh,
Right? Because if I give you guys another monster like that, you're just gonna be like, this sucks. Wilhelm's just gonna destroy it in 2 hits. This thing's not. It's gonna drop in 2 rounds. It's like,
yeah,
and then that turns into this game of uh, me as a DM to make the encounter more exciting. Well, first off, I have to give them a lot more health for next time, right?
right,
If I want them
yeah,
to survive, and then um, say it's not Wilhelm, say it's a different character that is able to just basically lock down everything, then I have to like make their DCs high enough to be able to even come close to succeeding, you know, whoever has the high DC, I guess, to be able to provide them a challenge. So,
hmm
so I guess what I'm getting at is, so to keep the encounters fun or the fight or whatever it is fun, I have to scale that to the OP or the broken character. Now,
yeah.
if they are scaled to that OP and broken character, and
They're fatal.
all of the other players aren't OP and broken, you know, see what I'm getting
Right.
at? It's
Yeah.
like I have to, you know, God versus the God, and then all the other players are like, you know, the demigods, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I just wondered if, yeah, because I could see how that would make, I could see how it could be problematic sometimes.
But I also don't want it to deter anybody from, like, I would
Right.
never want to deter you in any way from like making the most badass character that you possibly can. The only
Yeah.
thing that is, it's just it will just
You
provide a
can't.
challenge, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Which is perfectly fine. I mean, that's kind of the job of the DM is, you know, to figure out ways. Now, regarding Wilhelm, I'm pretty sure that his intelligence probably wasn't the greatest.
Yeah. There's
So,
always weaknesses. Yeah.
fortunately, on the DM side of that game, uh, but Wilhelm was a bear-totem barbarian, which he had resistance to all damage besides psychic, and
hmm
aberrations basically all almost deal psychic damage.
Yeah.
So that was like
Yeah.
kind of a luck of the draws type deal as far as like, you know, inflicting anything on Wilhelm.
hmm
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's see. Got a few things here. Um,
I like what Justin said too, though. Just just kind of spitballing your character as you play.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I can do that. I gotta have a plan. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And I just want it to be known, like, for future games too, like, I'm not against OP builds at all. I mean, it just requires me to think more dynamically, which is perfectly fine because,
Mm-hmm.
and this is just from the mindset of like a simple fight where people are just doing like face zergs, right? Where it's just straight up like one-on-one combat where you're just like punching each other in the face essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you throw in outside factors, that kind of changes up the whole fight. So it's not like it's completely or undoable. But there are certain counters where you'll shine, which is perfectly fine because that's sort of how the game should work, right? If you make a strong character that can do a lot of damage, then that's going to shine in those situations where it needs to.
Yeah.
Just like anything else.
Yeah,
So,
Wilhelm needed to get information from someone by talking to someone. It wouldn't have went well. There's a lot of things he couldn't do. There's a lot of weaknesses, and
well, I think that's another thing too to think about is that even though Wilhelm was able to do all of that damage, you still, like you said, almost got people, like multiple people killed or whatever because of how you were role playing, which was true to your character.
Yeah.
So,
and that you
that
got
makes
to
a
role
difference
play
too, right?
Yeah.
You can do all the damage in the world, but I think the more important thing is that just remember to stick to how you believe your character would actually play the scene out, as opposed to being like, well, I'm just gonna go do my damage in my turn.
Right, yeah, like I think that's going back to the question that Monica asked much earlier too, like build powerful characters that don't, I can't remember how exactly it was worded. I'm not seeing the chat like you are. But yeah, that's part of it too. Just
how to make them fit
if your character's got a weakness, like you want that to be shown too. That's a part of your character that's important, is their weaknesses, you know? So, anyways.
The importance of flaws.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you don't want to be the guy that's just always trying to do the best thing mechanically while you're trying to tell a story that you're just not going to, it's not going to seem realistic then. It's gonna seem more like you're playing a video game than you're role playing a story.
Kind of like when the am I gonna get this wrong again?
Oh, did I do it? Did I was that?
Is it Leon Yin? Correct. When the Leon Yin held their hand out for me to join them, and I just kind of like did the kind of like anime face with like the little cloud of confusion bubbles staring at them. I could have joined, but I know that my character would definitely not, and not so much because of the situation, but my character was so focused on why are they wearing that awful looking non-flashy robe, and then they saw the guards and it's like, oh, let's get out of here.
Yeah, perfect.
Even though your robe might be flashy and cool, but that's just the way it was. I can't wait for tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, man. Yes, I'm ready to. And we're starting later than normal, right?
Yes, 9 to 12.
Starting at 9 to 12.
You work tomorrow, I guess?
Yeah, I work tomorrow and I work Sunday as well.
Better take a nap beforehand.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Like, I'm not getting
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I think we're getting pretty close to a close here. Night Fury says, "What is one thing you've always wanted to do in D&D but never been able to, and would really like to do?"
Man, well, I've rode a dragon in D&D, which was a goal that I thought would take me a long time. Like I always thought that was cool, and I did it already in game. Something I really want to do, like I said, I want to go to level 1 to 20. I want to eventually cast a 9th level spell. I don't even care which one it is at some point. I want to. There's so many things I want to do in D&D. I want to cast Revivify on somebody. I want to bring somebody back from the dead. Haven't done that yet. I just think it's so cool. I don't think that that's the kind of question she's asking though. And I'm gonna have to think on that.
Okay.
But there's a ton of stuff. I know. I would like to summon a steed. Like I'm just my mind's going straight to spells that I think are awesome that I have not ever played a character that could use, but there's other things too.
Yeah.
I'd really like to have a super intense social, at least not campaign, but at least like a couple sessions of a campaign where the social interactions with an unlimited, like a whole city of of our party running around searching for, talking to people, getting to know locals. I don't know if we're solving a mystery or what we're looking for something, whatever we're trying to do. I think that the social aspects are cool that normally we do a little bit of, but don't, dive in too deep with. Um, there's so much stuff that I like to do.
Yeah, that's something that I've noticed as well that I've thought about on occasion since watching the second campaign is, they're currently in Zadash right now, which is, they got everything there. They go to different shops. Even the town that they were in before, there's, Matt has a store for everything that they want to go to, right? And that's
Right.
kind of what I've been wanting to work on is more building out a city, regardless of what it is, but like just fully flesh out a singular city into multiple districts and have just
Established.
shops and like a map to where people can actually see and where you can really be at specific points in the town at specific places, like in a live sort of interaction. So like say the party's in the south district over here doing something and they know that the other half went up to go to visit some store or smith or something in a different district. There's that measure there, there's like that specified sort of distance between them and where they're at in regards of city. And like if there's something that happens or goes off or something blows up, they're in different places and the scenarios are changed depending on where they're at and how far away they're from the whatever is happening. And just like just bringing a city fully to life as well.
Like in a long campaign, it would be really cool to make some, wherever you have all your connections and stuff, like you make a bar like one of the most popular, or tavern. You make some tavern like the most popular tavern in the world because it's where your famous party went went to all the time, and they all knew you and stuff like that. That would be cool. You know, I mean, you make a little town that was small because of all of the spoils from all of your adventuring days have come back to this town, and now this town's a huge thriving town, or just different stuff like that. Have roots somewhere. Have a bunch of NPCs. Have a bunch of NPCs that you know the names of, and they know your story, or you know what they can know of your story. That's just like exactly what you're talking about. I think that all that's cool. It's
Yeah.
really neat. It's a lot of work for you though, DM.
That's
It's a
fine.
lot of voices and names and yeah. But
I've started small, and I just have to start building out. Is all. As soon as I finish my first module, I'll start working on that. Yeah, the players definitely can help with that too. Well, I think that's going to be it for tonight. We're kind of running at that 2-hour mark, so
well,
thanks for joining me tonight, Chapman. I
hey,
appreciate you
I
coming
had
on.
fun. I hope it was fun for everybody. It was fun for me.
Nothing but good times, and we'll be on tomorrow night. I'll see you around, little snake.
Yes. We'll see how it goes.
All right. Before things get too weird.
Yeah.
Never mind. I like it weird. Keep going. Good night, everybody.
Okay, guys. I'll see you guys later.